Welcome to the very first television production of The Green Scene, and this is brought to you by the Brandon Environment Committee. And my name is Doug Paterson, and I have with me today Tom Keep. He's the Environmental Manager of Initiatives for the City of Brandon, environmental initiatives, that is. Welcome, Tom.
Thanks, Doug.
And you've been on this in this set before in various capacities.
Yes, we used to have a TV show. It was more so aimed at city programs that were going on, and it's called One to One with the City of Brandon. But it was a lot of environmental initiatives in there as well.
Well, this Channel 12 is really beneficial for groups like the Brandon Environment Committee, and what we're trying to do is to start a series of television programs, and maybe you can comment on who we'd like to get involved and what sort of goals we have for this overall project.
Yeah, some of the groups that are, in the community have, we don't know all of the groups that are out there, obviously,
right.
And some of the groups have some very good initiatives that are going on, such as the Assiniboine Hills Conservation District, or it could be a school group that's trying to raise money to do a waste program or a recycling program in their school. Stuff along this line. We open the door to them and we encourage them to contact us, and if it's an environmental initiative or something that they feel is a positive for the community, we encourage them to contact us and we can get them in on a segment.
Well, with my experience with WCG and Channel 12, it's very user-friendly, very comfortable, and quite informal. I mean, I had a shower and brushed my teeth and combed my hair for the very first program of The Green Scene. I think you did too.
I did, yeah.
And we would expect people to do that if they're coming on, but they really don't need any prior experience or anything like that, as long as you say they're interested in the environment and protecting our world, really.
Exactly, and as you say, it's a very friendly atmosphere here, and it's shown at various times throughout the day, and it doesn't just have to be Brandon, it can be in the Westman area. If there's groups that are, Carberry or Boys of Ain or other groups that, have Westman cable, we encourage them to contact us, and, we can get them involved in the process, and they can contact me, and I'll give my phone number out now, is 729-2171 if groups are interested, and we can get them in the building.
So at the end of the day, there's about 20 to 25 regulars on this environment committee, and we'll get into some of the details of that later, but we're trying to get people in from the community to do these types of shows, and they can get cameras from WCG, I think. They can go out and take their own footage of whatever their activity is, whether it's a soccer club or the high mileage, or anybody that thinks they have something to contribute to reducing greenhouse gases, or reduce, reuse, recycle sort of philosophy. Is that right?
Exactly, and it can be anything, as you say, greenhouse
bicycle
gas
club or whatever.
It could be water conservation. It
right.
could be, we supported Brandon Youth Soccer through a little bit of a funding grant for water bottles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's a good opportunity to showcase what you're doing.
Yeah, and the other aspect we want to get across today is we're not only inviting people to come and produce shows that will help the environment and get their points across in a legitimate way, of course, but we also have this committee, and it's called the Brandon Environment Committee, and as city councillor back in the day, I was on that committee from day one and chaired it for a number of years. There's another chair as of last year, and we've been meeting, I think, monthly, it would be fair to say, except maybe in the summertime. Usually in the morning, about 8:30, that varies.
That's correct.
And usually at location, City Hall, sometimes at the hospital or other sites where we can learn something about the environment.
Okay.
But can you just comment on how this committee first began?
Sure. Back in 2005, as you say, the city put together, it was a focus, and it was a community strategic plan.
Right.
And in that plan, it included health, and it included economic development.
Different subcommittees.
Different subcommittees, yeah. And agriculture was another one, and the environment was one of the ones, and a very active one as well. And so from that, the big community plan, this subcommittee, the Brandon Environment Committee, was formed, and we have a wide spectrum of people that are involved in it. We have business, we have education, we have past educators, we have youth, we have city employees. Government employees. We have a very wide variety. We encourage people to come. We encourage people, if they can't make the meeting, and historically it's been the last Wednesday of the month. And, you know, we looked at different times, and this time, you know, works best for the majority of the people that are coming to the meeting. And it's an opportunity to voice your concern. We have a formal agenda that we follow. We have minutes. We circulate the minutes as well.
But we're not too crazy about, like, we're not really goofy about being too formal.
That's correct.
Yeah.
It's very informal.
It's quite informal, in fact.
Exactly. And you know, one of the agenda items at the very bottom of it, if you didn't get your item in, there's another category, and you can, and we have a once around the table as well. Yeah. And people you can find out what you're going through.
What impresses me over the years too, I think we've had a pretty good mix of young and old, men and women, and some are really, really keen on the environment. Others have a passing interest in it, in the sense that they realize it's important, they want to get involved.
Right.
But they're not, they don't sort of have that as the main focus of their lives, whereas some people really have it as a very important part of their lives. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Exactly, and we do not answer to City Council.
Right.
We are an arm-length committee, and we advise City Council of different topics.
Use some of their resources.
We use a lot of their resources, but I mean, with regards to, they'll come to us and say, what do you think about bottled water? Or what do you think about different ideas? Right. And as a committee, we will sit down and talk about it, and whether we write a report to City Council or whatever. But as I say, we are an arm-length committee of City Council. We get no funding from them. But it's a good opportunity to have that discussion with people in government.
I would say, from my experience on the committee, we try to be, we don't really roll up our sleeves and do a lot of work per se. We have ideas, we monitor, we might pressure, we might write some letters to senior government or even city government, but we're not the type of people that would sort of, we're not the type of group in and of itself that would roll up its sleeve and necessarily go and pick ditches to clean up or something like that. We don't really get involved in physical labor. Is that fair to say?
Not as a group.
Not as,
on an individual basis, you know, a lot of the people around the table do that.
The point I'm trying to get across for viewers, though, is that people say, I'm busy, I can't get involved, and I'm busy with the Scouts, I'm busy washing floors for the church or whatever it is. Well, we're not washing floors really. We're more of an idea group and a pressure group in a hopefully a polite sort of a way, and that type of thing.
Yeah, I agree
sound
with that. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And the membership base itself, there's a number of opportunities. There's no you don't have to be there at every meeting.
Yeah.
We encourage, if you can't be there, to send somebody else in your place, whether a spouse or a friend or whatever along that line.
Yeah.
But I mean, with regards to being a member, there's no financial fee that you have to pay.
Right.
I think we give some pretty good coffee in the morning during our meetings. Doug, you always try to get muffins out of us, but so it's a fun meeting.
Yeah. And the other aspect, too, is that when we show up at a meeting, I think you've touched on this already, we have once around the table, but people are encouraged to tell us ahead of time, by way of email usually, what they'd like to see on the agenda. And in that sense, it's very free and open.
That's correct.
And there's a lot of people out there who might be interested in a lot of things relating to the environment. And I can just give you a couple of examples here from our agenda. And we're two talking heads today. Hopefully other shows will have some videos and demonstrations, things like that, some video tours of whatever. But just for today's opening segment of the Green Scene, I'd like to tell you what we do at our meetings, and here's some examples. So we have the usual introductions and minutes and correspondence. Then there's, I think we have a website. You can maybe talk about that later if you don't mind. Somebody wanted to talk about conservation districts, Brandon Science Fair, Earth Day, Municipal Adaptation Branch, organics. There was another meeting where we talked about CLEAR. Do you remember what CLEAR stands for, Tom?
Community-led emission reduction.
Oh, thank you. There was fluoride discussions for fluoride in the water, water conservation strategy, firefighting simulator for training so we don't have to have all that smoke all the time. And turns out they're ahead of us because the authorities are doing that already. But
that's one of your initiatives.
That was one of mine, yeah. And another one, I'll just use another one of my examples that I think is going to get some light of day, that is wasting food. Yeah. A lot more people in the world are realizing that up to 25% of our food is absolutely wasted down the drain.
I remember Jeffrey Simpson was here in the community, and we encouraged environment people to attend, committee members, and that was interesting. Yeah,
so that's kind of what we're doing. So what about this website? What can you tell us about that?
The website is brandonenvironment.ca, and it lists a whole bunch of different, it has all our meeting minutes. It has initiatives that are going on. Lindsay Hargraves.
I was going to ask you about her.
Yeah, she has been just excellent, and Lindsay was a part of the community-led emission reduction program, a provincial program, and has now stepped in with in the department, working for the city, and on a term position as of right now, and is doing just a fabulous job. Her initiatives a lot of them are focused at youth in the community. She does as well organize Earth Day celebrations with another little subcommittee.
Yeah, that's important.
There. You know, and she does a very good job for us.
Well, really, between you and her, you guys really help to get the rubber to hit the road. While I've said the individual members of the committee don't necessarily roll up their sleeves and get too busy with physical tasks, you guys really are good extensions for the community in trying to keep an eye on what's going on and help the committee sort of move forward in that sense.
Yeah, so we have two hats. Yeah. One is the community side of it, and the other one is for the city itself. Right. So, you know, you're looking at the city initiatives that we've been doing. We've done a greenhouse gas inventory. We've been monitoring vehicle fuel consumptions, and we're doing water audits right now on city facilities. Lindsay was very successful in a couple of programs through that CLEAR program with regards to rebates on toilets and rain barrel. So there's some other things that are coming down the line that we're really looking forward to.
So just for the average viewer in Western Manitoba here then, so you guys you and Lindsay may be doing something on behalf of the city, but it's very complementary to what we're trying to get across as a committee. Is that sort of the way to look at it?
It's like hand in glove type of thing.
Okay. And there are different topics that we might be coming up with for this show, because we have some people lined up to do subsequent shows here, and you and I were talking about organic collection, and I think that started nicely with the city now.
It's overwhelming.
So what's the status of that now then?
We've had to put a cap on the number for this year. We have, it looks like we're going to get 3,000 households involved in that process of collecting the green-lidded back lane organic composting.
So that's about 30% of households in Brandon.
Yeah, it's and you know, we can take up to 6,000. And we're going to slowly expand that, but we've just been overwhelmed with the success and the participation, so it's been quite good.
Now, you've been a very good asset for the city of Brandon for a number of years in what you do, and you must have developed a sense of where Brandon stands in relation to similar cities across Canada. Like, are we lagging behind on the green scene, as it were, or are we leading the parade, or where would you say we are?
We do have a lot to do still. But I mean, with regards to City Council, they have been very proactive with regards to the environment. But, you know, other communities similar size, I would say that we're doing quite well. We've got a greenhouse gas inventory, as I mentioned a little bit earlier. we're part of the Partners for Climate Protection, and that's sort of an initiative that it's a 5-step process on reducing greenhouse gases, and we're into step 4 of 5, so we're really close into knowing exactly where we're at.
So it sounds like we're doing a lot, but we got lots to do.
You're exactly right.
And that's probably true for a lot of cities, really.
You're exactly right, yeah.
Okay.
You know, everything from, we talk about fuel for mileage for vehicles and stuff along that line. The city has taken a proactive step with regards to upgrading all the bus transit fleets. Every bus has a bike rack on the front. And
small things like that.
And they all add up, right?
Yeah.
And so, but there's, like I say, there's lots to do still.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm a bit of a sinner when it comes to the environment in lots of ways, but I'm not as bad as I used to be. I'm a lot better at recycling and things like that. But I harken back to when my brothers and I were kids, and Dad would say, I'm going to double insulate the hot water tank, close that door, save those cans, all those types of things. We kind of laugh at them. Turn down the heat, right? What do you want to turn down the heat for, you know? Things like this. Well, that's really second nature to a lot of people now.
It's all coming around, right?
And I'm kind of wondering how you've seen Brandon change since you've been at the scene here.
Well, water conservation and water is very big. Even with regards to transit, there's more and more people riding transit now.
Well, just the recycling too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the recycling is we're going to be very close. Once this organic program totally kicks in, we are going to have 50% diversion. And that means, like, if we didn't recycle anything and we just buried everything at the landfill, that would be zero diversion. But you know, if 100 pounds is brought into the landfill, 50 pounds of that is being diverted. And a landfill is very, very costly to build and to operate, and it's a new revenue source for us.
Brandon must have, I would say, not up to the minute, but pretty modern recycling facilities with that materials handling facility and everything else out there, right?
Exactly. It's the system itself, and we encourage groups to get a hold of us as well for tours, school. Lindsay, one of her program was the Enviro Expo.
What's your number again?
It's 729-2171.
Okay.
And we encourage, and it doesn't just have to be youth. It could be seniors groups. It could be, you know, clubs or whatever along that line.
Anybody that breathes oxygen, basically.
Well, it's the people that we've had through that the last little bit are amazed the operation of the landfill.
Yeah, I'd agree with that from my time out there. So some other topics for the Green Scene show on WCG. Assiniboine Hills Conservation District, household hazardous waste, electronic recycling. Any thoughts about any of those?
All very positive. Initiatives have already started on that. The City of Brandon has just recently become a member of the Assiniboine Hills Conservation District, and that's all related to water. But and it's a standalone group, and we're encouraging them to come in to participate. Household hazardous waste. In the past, we used to have, with the help of the Rotary Club, have 2 household hazardous waste days a year. We had vehicles lined up down Richmond Avenue idling, and we're sort of pulling our hair out trying to figure out what but now with the province and product stewardship, we have household hazardous waste anytime at the landfill when it's open, and people can take their waste out there, and so it's pretty good.
I saw a letter to the editor from Don Patrick, was from Rotary, I think it was, that sort of said, look at all the work we've done and really helped the community, and thanks for everything, and now on to the next step. So that's
exactly, and you know, they really were the ones, that service group, the Rotary Club of Brandon, were the ones that made household hazardous waste what it is.
And was it Air Cadets that helped them out?
Air Cadets as well, yeah. They were a very good group.
A friend of the environment, a lot of people in Western Manitoba might know as David Barnes. He's a retired teacher, and I think he's got a number of bicycle initiatives on the go and things like that. But trees blood is a word that a lot of people never heard of till a couple of weeks ago, and he was in front of City Council for trees blood. What's that all about?
It's protected spaces, and now City Council has just recently approved it, and so using habitat, and they can designate land and that will not be developed, And so virtually going ahead right now, it's city land is the process, but we're looking at expanding that into other public or private properties.
Good. So that's can be anywhere.
That's right, yeah.
And David was just talking about Brandon, but presumably the philosophy can be taken to any municipality in the Western Manitoba.
Most definitely, yes.
Okay.
And it's you know, if you look at David's plan, it's big plan. It could be used for education.
Okay.
It could be and preserving. You know, if there's an endangered species or something along that line, it's a lot of thought on it.
You're a mind reader. I was just going to ask you about endangered species. We have some members of the committee, I think that's their job, to deal with endangered species, and we hope to have that as a separate show for Green Scene. But once again, if there's gardeners out there and they're concerned about some lady slipper that may not last and may not survive this environment, then they should get in touch with us, and
most definitely,
maybe we can help somehow.
You know, that's one of the things that's happening right now is this potential new development. Whether they're going to be doing an environmental assessment prior to developing, because there are lady slippers that are out there that are endangered.
You're talking about a housing development or something? Okay.
Possible housing or commercial development, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, there's some really interesting stuff we see on the horizon coming.
Yeah. Well, I think that just about wraps up what we want to do for this program. And just to remind viewers, it's called Green Scene, and we hope to have various groups, right?
Right.
Coming forth, and anybody watching is welcome to phone that number, 729-2171.
That's correct, yeah.
And get in touch with us, and we would help them get in line to do a production of whatever they want to say related to the environment.
Right, and you know, if we're not there, leave a message. We return our calls, and you know, we're looking forward to a new era of environment.
And the subcommittee to do the Green Scene, we do have a number of rules. Of course, we can't have anything that's off color in the production or something like that, or it can't be too political and that sort of thing. But other than that, if they stick to environment issues and information, then they're good. So.
Well, I believe you're the policeman on that, and if somebody needs, you're the lawyer of the group.
Yeah,
I think,
one of them.
right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, anyway, we'll wrap up, Tom, and wish our viewers a good day. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Doug.